everyone, I'm Carol. Today I'm going to share with you my learning insights after attending third lesson with Grandmaster Douglas Chan. First two lessons, he introduced us to Qimen Dunjia, the 5,000 years of history, the modern day context using, and also gave us a quick intro to the basics of what makes up a Qimen Dunjia chart, and emphasized the need to actually grasp the core fundamentals well and be grounded in learning all these knowledge and the skill set. So coming lesson 3, he went into the details, starting by introducing to us the 5 elements, the 金木水火土, the fire, wood, water, metal, earth elements, which are very important for metaphysics learning, because any two elements that interact will create a relationship, be it whether it's producing relationship or clashing relationship. Producing relationship will actually create an increase of energy, for example, between the wood and fire element, whereas a clashing relationship will cause a decrease in energy, for example, between wood and water. So he also showed us a sample to look at how these 5 elements are being superimposed on a typical Qimen chart onto the 9 palaces. So for third lessons, Grandmaster Chan introduced 10 heavenly stamps, which represent the subject and the people involved. So interestingly, under these 10 heavenly stamps, a few things to note is actually the Jia, the emperor, and he is always afraid of the enemy, which is represented by the Geng. So there are actually 3 nobles that we need to actually take note of, the Yi, Bing, Ting, and whenever these 3 happens, especially in the same box when 2 appear, it is a very good box because it tells us that there are people around to help us overcome any obstacles. So tips out of the box, out of the notes itself. Whenever we see the Yi appearing together with the Geng, it is also a good thing because Yi is the only one that can control the Geng, and when that happens, it tells us that the Geng has no effect and obstacle can easily be overcome. So within the third lesson itself, Grandmaster Chan also introduced us to the heavenly plate that talks about the current and the future. But if we want to look at the past and previously what has happened, then we would have to look at the earthly plates. And whenever we actually plot a Qimen chart to find the answer, then we have to reference to the hour stamp. And also when we actually want to know the subject character or the person who really asked the question, which is what we call the asker, then we will actually look at the day stamp. And whenever in a Qimen chart, when we see the answer palace and the asker palace actually clashes, then it actually symbolizes that there is some kind of problem. Things may not go that well. But whenever if we see there is a Jia appearing, then we would have to look in a holistic manner to see what is a combination between Jia in the heavenly plate and the other representation in the earthly plate, and we look out for the symbolic representation in a certain combination. Then we will try to locate that symbolic representation in the Qimen chart itself. So the third lesson itself, Grandmaster Chan actually brought us through 2 very unique charts. One is called the Fuyin chart, where we see all the stamps are the same, and when that happens, a Fuyin chart big picture tells us that it is going to be a long and painful process for whatever things that you're asking for, and this actually just overrides everything, and in fact it's like nothing to see further. But one typical scenario is when we see an answer box have the thing plus thing together, then it is actually a good box, and contrary, it actually overrides the Fuyin chart, you see. But whenever we see the answer box itself happening to have a comb there, then energy will just fall by 50%. Yeah, so interesting, right? Then he also bring us through another Fanyin chart itself, where this unique chart shows that the plates are flip-flopping. And when we have a Fanyin chart with a flip-flop of the plates, It is telling us that things happen very fast and things are constantly changing. Yeah. So if you want to catch a glimpse of what are all these plates looks like, the charts, and also knowing more about other things about the heavenly stamps, go down to my blog. Okay, I have more details there, and I'll see you again when I share more about my learning from lesson 4. See ya.